Hi, hello. Welcome to Text Adventure Tuesday. It is another vintage Text Adventure Tuesday. Why? Because JRM cannot be with us, which means my big goal for today is beating a Mind Forever Voyaging. If we have a ton of time left, I don't know. We'll see what else is out there. But my hope is that I should be able to beat it. We have done a lot in this game so far. We have moved the plot forward. How neat plot. Um, so in this game, you are a computer that has been granted sentience. You are in control uh, of a facility, but we have not been able to unlock that. Every time that we play with the settings, it gets angry at us, and the good Dr. Perelman unplugs us, which is kind of neat. Um, but it kind of goes to a lot of what I've been seeing with this game. Um, there's a lot of set pieces. So, for example, there's as I am frantically looking for my map. Um, there is a for example, there's construction sites in the simulation, and each stage of the simulation goes forward 10 more years. Um, I will totally admit, I totally forgot to pull up all of my cheat sheets. And as the simulation moves forward, you move forward in 10-year increments. As the simulation moves forward, you end up seeing, oh, okay, what gets built here? What's going on? The biggest construction site is a city within a city, but in that same, like, this is just a set piece that you can like see. There's nothing to do there. Um, so I'm really curious what all is in here beyond this section of the game, which is focusing on the simulation aspect, and you're supposed to be simulating the effects of the plan, which is sort of like Reaganomics happening. This game is the author Steve Moretsky's uh, anxieties about the Reagan politics of the time, and it's really fascinating as that kind of like micro or as that kind of time capsule. Um, but I think what's super interesting about this is just the depth that it goes. So a great example is the police seem to be getting more and more brazen, and so you're recording events to show Dr. Perelman what happens because of this. Um, so it's definitely interesting, and it's definitely something where I'm personally fascinated to see what is coming next. What exactly is supposed to happen here? Um, where are we going with this plot line, with this story? Because so far it's been interesting, but it's been very uh, just kind of happening around it. So this is really fascinating to me because it's definitely pointing at sort of the future of interactive fiction and text adventures, um, where there isn't, there's no puzzles so far. The only thing that we're doing is watching a narrative unfold. And I think it's really deeply prescient, with this, and especially with uh, Plundered Hearts, which we played now, I think a couple months ago, um, where it's just not. It's more about the story than it is the game, and I think this doesn't have as tight a narrative push as a lot of the interactive fiction that we've seen that's more recent. In a lot of ways, it's a lot like the first game that we played, Babel, where you're just kind of doing stuff, and okay, the plot happens around you. Um, I think there's a lot here where this is the kinds of things that really directly influenced the next maybe 15 years. Um, definitely that early reemergence uh, of interactive fiction and text adventures. So what have we done in this game? We have eaten a meal at a restaurant. We've talked to a government official. Eating a meal at a restaurant has shown that food is increasingly expensive. Talking to a government official has sort of shown that they're feeling a little bit less and less sure of what's going on. Um, we've not visited a power generation facility recently, so I wonder what that's like. We have read newspapers. I've not been able to find a newspaper in the most recent year. We've ridden public transit, which doesn't seem to change. Like there's more graffiti, but other than that, it still works. We've attended court in sessions, so the first thing was just a traffic ticket. The more recent thing was a violent crime. We've talked to church officials. There is a effectively evangelical church that worships sort of the plan. Um, Worships this like computer system, that kind of deal. We've seen some movies. The movies have gotten worse. I don't know if that's really necessary. I'd kind of be interested to see, like, oh, well, no, the movies are fine. So maybe it's just normal movies. But the last movie that we saw was not great. And we have visited home, and that's where I think the narrative has been extremely clear. Um, because what's happened is your little simulated guy has not sold his book about his travels in Africa. It's been increasingly sad. There are police raids that happen very often, and your son has joined the evangelical church. The son whose baby formula you can drink. Um, it's very interesting. You can go grocery shopping, and the groceries have gotten to the point where it will not let you grocery shop. And I think that that's again like all of these interesting little snippets of narrative, but not a cogent full narrative quite yet. Um, so I'm very fascinated by this, and I'm so curious what's going on with this plot. because as I'm flipping through the walkthrough, there's more. And I'm not going to look at all uh, at the epilogue, but I think this is so interesting. I really want to find more things, and that's really the point of this game. So let's get in, let's get started, um, and we can get going. Um, and we can get going. So we are currently in the simulation. It is nighttime. It is after curfew. So curfew has been uh, started in this world. Um, so let's just get our bearings. Let's look at ourselves. You look much as you always have, a normal middle-aged male, perhaps a little older and a little grayer. Your clothes are a bit old and ratty. Um, so there's a lot of little things that you can do here. One of the things is buy more clothes. Um, so I'm a just really interested in all of this. Okay, so we are at Aquarium and River. Uh, Aquarium Drive from the west ends in this T intersection with River Street. There's a modern theater building to the northwest and an older one to the east. On the southwest corner is a church. So let's go east to the Pickford Theater. And this is a good example of that. This is just a set piece. What am I supposed to see here? What am I supposed to do? This building is the last survivor of the final theaters of Rockville's theater district. The exit to the River Street is to the west. So we'll just go back. A sharp crack, like a distant pistol shot, echoes among the buildings. The city has been getting increasingly violent. Um, and I wish this was explored more, other than just as set pieces and things like that. Like, what do I need to do to get? Can I check the time? It is 1:42 p.m. Oh, it's 1:42 p.m. I thought it was 11:42. What date? Okay, date. Today's date is June 17th, 2061. So what's in my inventory? I have a credit card. I have a key to my house. I have a wallet, and looks like the wallet contains a driver's license. Can I read the license? Still living at the same place. The name that of the I don't want to say character, but person that I am simulating is Perry Sim. I live in the Parkview Apartments in Southway, Rockville, South Dakota, where we are, in a specific zone. So, okay, I am at River Street. So let me go south. We're at Bodansky Square. This is a large plaza framed by the intersection of Bodansky Boulevard from the east, Center Street from the southwest, and River Street from the north and south. There is a car lot on the western side of the square. On the northeastern corner is a restaurant, and the Church of God's Word can be entered to the southeast. A covered stairway leads down to the tubes. I want to go down to the tubes. And wait a little bit. A brown tube car marked University whooshes into the station onto the northwest set of tracks. Doors open and people begin boarding and debarking. This is a typical tube car, grimy and covered with layers of graffiti. The doors of the car are open. The doors of the brown tube car slide shut, and it glides out of the station. The tube car glides into a station, and you can make out a sign reading Skybus Terminal, transfer between brown and red. The car comes to a stop, and the doors slide open. I'm actually going to leave. You're on a central platform between 4 sets of tracks. On the wall is a sign in brown and red, Skybus Terminal. Tracks for the brown line tube cars lie to the southeast and northwest. Another pair of tracks for the red line lie down some steps to the southwest and northeast. A stairway leads up out of the station. Let's go southwest. There's no tube car there at the moment. Let's go down. Stairs lead down to both the southwest and northeast. Okay, I think I just need to wait. Doors of the brown tube car slide shut and it glides out of the station. As someone who loves taking trains, this is actually really calming. A brown tube car marked airport whooshes into the station on the southeast side of tracks. Doors open, people begin boarding and debarking. I don't want the brown, I want the red. A red tube car marked Omnifab plant whooshes into the station on the southwest side set of tracks. The doors open and people begin boarding and debarking. Again, let's just record and wait. So the big mechanic here is that you as a computer need to record things. And by recording them, you can then show them to the doctor who is reporting on the progress of the simulation to the government in order to justify enacting the plan. And the plan is again like a set of austerity measures. There's a whole lore file. If you watch the first week of this, we read all of the lore files. But in essence, it's austerity and increasing the defense budget and the policing budget and all this kind of stuff. Crank my volume a little bit, and that's super interesting. But we're gonna continue waiting. We're at Elm and River Street. We're at Haymon Village. I kind of want to take this all the way to the end. Hey, the Omnifab plant. Let's check out the Omnifab plant. So we're at Wicker Drive and River Street at the Omnifab plant. Let's do record off and go up. So you've crossed the proverbial railroad tracks. This section of town near the river is run down and seedy. Wicker Drive, which runs northeast to southwest, cuts perpendicularly across River Street here. To the northwest, river dips under an unused rail bridge. There's a factory on the eastern corner, and on the northern corner, a boarded-up soup kitchen. To the west is a vacant lot, and south of here are some dilapidated apartments. The smell of stale urine wafts from a stairway leading down to a gloomy tube station. Let's check out the soup kitchen. Soup kitchen is closed down. Okay. Let's go to the plant. There's no way to enter that factory from here. So let's go to the tenement. You're in the lobby of a rundown apartment building. These apartments were probably considered desirable when constructed during the latter part of the last century. But the building, like the entire area, has become a slum. The lobby has exits to the north, east, and west. Let's go east. We're at the power station entrance. This is great. You're on River Street at the entrance of a utility station which lies to the south. The street continues southeast towards the River Street Bridge. Northeast of here is the entrance to a huge factory complex, and tenements line the street to the west and southwest. Let's turn things on and go northeast. Oh, this is the Omnifab Skycar factory. Damn. The last surviving smokestack industry in the area. It provides jobs to many residents of the city and the suburbs across the river, although not nearly as many as before the suspension of federal regulations limiting robotic job replacement. Judging by the number of cars in the workers' lot and the general level of activity, the plant is running at less than half capacity. There are exits from this complex of buildings to the northwest and southwest. Let's go southwest, and then let's go utility station south. This is a central power station for all of Rockville. Power is generated here by fusion reactors, as well as by more environmentally damaging coal-burning generators. Power is received here from distant generators via a huge array of microwave receivers. The main entrance is on the north side of the plant. Warning: record buffer full. Auto deactivation of record feature. So this is the limiting factor in the simulation, is that you only have so much time that you can record. And me riding the bus for a while definitely took up some time. Me missing the thing definitely took up some time. So at this point, what we would do is we would abort simulation, boarding to communications mode. So there are multiple different modes that we can be in. There's communications mode, there's simulation mode, there's interface mode, and there's library mode. Let's just show off library mode one more time, because I think it's interesting. So this I love. It saves all of the messages sent to Prism. So we can see that we've been doing this for 2 days. It has been a while since we've gotten a full message, but let's read this file. This is the last message that we received from Dr. Perelman. Perelman to Prism. Thought you'd be interested to know that, based on your recordings, the Special Congressional Subcommittee has recommended the plan for full adoption, which might occur in just a few weeks. Things sure are moving fast. I don't know about you, but I still get a funny feeling about the plan. Oh well. By the way, I've been so snowed under that I haven't had time to line up any projects for you. I'm really sorry. I hope you're keeping busy. And so that's what we're up to now, is we need to produce recordings to Dr. Perelman to tell him that the plan is not going well. So we're going to exit back to communications mode. You've entered communications mode. The following locations are equipped with communication outlets, so we can poke around and see what's going on. We have the Prism Project Control Center, where there's a bunch of machinery. We have the Research Center rooftop, where we can look at the sunset. We have Dr. Perelman's office, where we talk to Dr. Perelman. And we have the Prism Facility cafeteria. We have the maintenance core, where it's a lot more things. And we have the World News Network feed, which provides us a way to get an idea of what's going on in the world. Most recently, the Prime Minister of China has passed away. Also, weather's not bad. So let's go to Dr. Perelman's office and try to get him to show things. The office of your creator, Dr. Perelman. It's cluttered, disorganized, overshelved bookshelves line the room. Perelman's desk is covered with a number of items, all of which are I just remembered I do need to look up the account because uh, your boy needs to defeat the copy protection. So I need to look that up before I forget. There's a manual that I had that I can not remember the website for 2 seconds of my life, and it is 2022. Who uses bookmarks? It is just important and useful to keep these things on hand. There we go. That's what it is. It's Infodoc. That's what it is. But what we need to do right now is just sleep and wait for Dr. Perlman to come to work. You enter sleep mode, slipping pleasantly into unconsciousness. You dream of your childhood and later of Jill. Sometime later, you wake feeling relaxed and notice that 6 hours have passed. Cool. Okay. So I think we just need to wait until 10 o'clock. And then Dr. Perlman should show up. Oh. I guess sleep is its own mode, but that's okay. Hey, Dr. Perlman is sitting at his desk, reading through stacks of papers and occasionally typing on his desk terminal. I know it's nothing, but totally ordinary looking terminal. So that's kind of been the way that the game has been telling us, hey, this isn't interesting. Yeah, totally ordinary look of coffee. Show recordings to Perlman. Perlman looks intrigued. You've recorded something interesting, eh? Let me get a few of my colleagues together and we'll view the buffer. I'll let you know when we're done, okay? You're gonna wait 60 minutes. A message begins coming over the message line. Perlman the Prism, private line, no storage. Several of us have just finished viewing the record buffer, per your request. Please meet me at the communications outlet in my office right away. Perlman walks into the office and spots the active light on your communication unit immediately. Hello, Prism, he says, sitting down at his desk. It looks like you beat me here. Give me a moment, please. He begins quickly jotting down a few notes onto a pad. Perlman looks up. Prism, several of my colleagues and I have finished viewing the recordings that you made, and everyone agreed that your recordings from 2051 were intriguing. However, everyone also agreed that there weren't enough recordings from other years to show any significant pattern. Maybe you could collect some more data, make some more recordings, and report back to us. Well, I've got to run, but I'll talk to you later. So, again, we're going to enter simulation mode, and I think trying to find things from other years is the goal. Purple. 28. Simulations are available for 10, 20, 30, and 40 years in the future. Let's go 30 years. No, let's go 40 years in the future. We're at Bodansky Square. This is 2071. This is 10 years later than what we saw. This is a large plaza formed by the intersection of Bodansky. Actually, let me make sure that it is. Oop. Nope, can't scroll back far enough. All right, we'll just figure it out. Bodansky Square. This is a large plaza formed by the intersection of Bodansky Boulevard from the east, Center Street from the southwest, and River Street from the north and south. There is an abandoned car lot on the western side of the square. On the northeastern corner is a restaurant, and the Church of God's Word can be entered to the southeast. A sealed-off stairway indicates a former entrance to the tubes. The sidewalks and street are crowded with people. The tube system closed 5 years ago. So I'm going to record that. And then let's go to, so we're at Bodansky Square. Let's go to the Church of God's Word. The regional central headquarters of the church is an architectural splendor. Light spills down from above, giving the illusion that the countenance of God is gazing down upon a visitor in full force and fury. A huge image of a radar dish, symbol of the church, hangs above the inner sanctums to the east, and impressively tall arched doorways lead out to the northwest and southwest. A wooden rack in the lobby for the purpose of distributing literature about the church contains one pamphlet. Get pamphlet. Record on. Read pamphlet. New pronouncements from the Mount. Our Father in heaven is pleased with the progress the church is making towards purifying his flock, and assures the faithful that the day of deliverance is soon. He has instructed that new worship camps for the impure be opened in every part of his favorite nation. He has instructed that these be filled with more of the beasts in human form who have not joined the church, or who are not considered fit to join the church, so that they may be purified and sent to meet him. He has instructed that only the officials of the church may hold governmental posts, in order to speed his work and facilitate the dawning of the new Eden. He has, in his generosity, increased the number of slaves a churchman may own from 25 to 50. This is the word of God. Blessed be his name. So this is definitely a new plot line going on. Concentration camps, huh? Can we have one stream? One of these games that isn't like problematic. At least this isn't, this isn't necrotic drift where I'm feeling uncomfortable saying words. But it's definitely it's a lot to make that claim. I think though it's very valid. I think it's concerning for sure. But okay. All right, none of that. So it's just kind of stuff. That's cool. Can we go to the Inner Sanctums? Only high church officials are allowed in the inner areas. Let's look at ourselves. Your clothes are frayed, and your skin is beginning to show the wrinkles of your 60 years. We're at Midland and River. Eastbound Midland Avenue forms a T with River Street at this intersection. To the northeast is a graceful structure of marble and glass bearing the black radar dish symbol of the church. The ALI building, headquarters of the American Life Insurance Group and a fairly typical 21st century skyscraper, extends along the western side of the street, and a car lot occupies the southeast corner. Wonder if I can just walk in. As soon as you enter, two thugs in security uniforms beat you up and drag you out to the gutter. They laugh with mindless glee before returning to the building. Let's try to record that. So I think this is where this like set piece thing is really starting to pay off. So it's not that you can do anything particularly in these places, but the slow change that occurs is sort of the thing that you can do there. So this is interesting. We're at Main and River. This is a typical four-way intersection between Main and River Streets. An entranceway through the massive walls of Haymon Village fills the southeast corner of the street, and a former healthcare facility occupies the northeast corner. To the southwest is 80 River Street, a 40s-style plastalloy and glass office building. The fourth corner, to the northwest, is the site of Perez Towers, a luxury apartment building. Oh, gosh. So trying to enter, so like every other time it's been like, oh, you just can't be here. Now it's actively violent. So as soon as you enter, a guard clubs you and tosses you out onto the sidewalk. Passers-by look away, giving you a wide berth. I'm going to record that too. I'm wondering. Yep. I'm wondering what exactly. So I've got the walkthrough that tells me where all the points are, even though there aren't actually points in this game. But it's sad. Let's check out what's going on with Haymon Village. The oldest indoor city has succumbed to the fates its critics foresaw, a roofed-in urban ghetto for masses of faceless serfs. You'd be well advised to use the exits to lie to the east, west, or northwest. What if we go east? Oh, okay, we're on Church Street City. This is new. This indoor city is a fairly recent one, and almost by definition, therefore, a fairly low-quality structure. A tunnel leads west toward Haymon Village, and the main entrance to this indoor city is from the north. You're at the corner of a bustling main street and a quiet church street. There are nondescript buildings on the northwestern and southwestern corners. A conventional apartment building occupies the southeast corner, and an entrance to Midland Cemetery forms the fourth corner. A particularly blockish indoor city towers over Church Street south of here. Let's go to Midland Cemetery. Midland Cemetery occupies one of the nicest pieces of land in the city atop the rolling bluffs of the West Bank. The cemetery dates back to the time of the original St. Michael's building, and some of the gravestones are 200 years old. Many of the stones have been etched with ugly graffiti like "Pap," a derogatory term for Catholics, and "Jibu," an epithet for any non-member of the church. Near the main gate of the cemetery to the west, the land has been bulldozed but is now overgrown with weeds, indicating a construction project that was begun but abandoned. Other gates lie to the south, southwest, and northwest. Let's record that. You're on Church Street, just east of a large vacant lot. The street continues north and south. To the northwest is a ruined structure of some type, and to the southwest is a luxury apartment tower. So going northwest towards the ruined building, barely discernible through the ash and broken glass are signs that this was once a church building of some kind. You can leave to either the northeast or the southwest. Let's turn off recording. You're at the we're back to Main and Church. You hear shots from a nearby building. Seconds later, security police carry a bleeding man out of the building and into a waiting sky van. A woman runs out of the building screaming. One of the officers kicks her in the stomach and clubs her across the skull as she falls. Nonchalantly, the policeman climbs into the sky van, which rises away. This city has gotten bad, gotten real bad. There is a park that I want to go to. Um, Elm Street begins here and crosses the downtown area to the west. Along the eastern side of River Street stands the vast Haymon Village building. You can enter Rockville Mall to the southwest or the old Stock Exchange building to the northwest. A former tube entrance occupies one corner of the intersection. The street is bustling with lunchtime crowds. The sun's fuel glow is skirting the building tops towards the south, providing little comfort or warmth on this gray, dismal day. Here at River Street, Southway ends its long trip from the western suburbs. South of here, the street bends towards the river. To the southwest are some brick houses, and a car lot occupies the northwest corner. All along the east side of the street is the featureless cliff-like facade of Haymon World. Little, if anything, has been done to restore the top several floors, gutted by fire about 15 years ago. That fire, which cost several thousand lives, revealed a severe deficiency of built-in fire control systems. But the courts threw out all suits since the building was built after the deregulation of the construction industry in '38, and the developer never falsely represented the building's safety systems. In an alley between two buildings, you spot two church policemen shooting an old woman with silenced guns. They drag her out of view. So I guess it's the church that now runs the police? Whew. Okay. That's one of the biggest things has been going home. So let's do that. Kennedy Street from the north ends here in a T with Southway. On the northwest corner is a tall, ugly office tower. The words First Continent Bank Building hang in large metal letters over the entrance, and a car lot fills the northeast corner. A row of old brick triple deckers, once renovated, lines the southern side of the street. Let's turn recording on. Let's try to go. Nope. Same thing. Two thugs in security uniforms beat you up and drag you out to the gutter. Okay. Let's keep going west. We're at Southway and Park. Southway bends sharply at this intersection, leading east and southwest. Park Street begins here and heads north. There are aging buildings on the northeast and western corners, and even older looking buildings to the northwest and southeast. A grocery store, its grimy windows barely transparent enough to reveal a sign reading rations for 4s, 5s, and 6s today, spans the southern side of the street. Let's look at our inventory. We have the glossy pamphlet, we have a key, we have a wallet. Open wallet. We have a ration card and a credit card. So no driver's license anymore. Perry Sim, ID number, big number, Class C. Let's go to the grocery. This is a large supermarket and it's literally crumbling. The shelves are empty and the interior is uniformly filthy. The exit to the street is north and the exit to the car lot is southwest. A board clerk asks for your ration card. Give ration card to clerk. The clerk tosses your card back at you in disgust. It's not your day, you senile idiot. He motions to the bouncer who pushes you roughly out the door. So it's definitely interesting to me to hear to read this kind of like relatively quick downfall. Like again, last time I found a set of design docs for this, and one of the things that they definitely were challenged by was like, is this reasonable? Um, the 50 Shades, the 50 Years of Text Adventures newsletter just sent out a uh, new issue today, which is super super cool. Seems in prep for his book coming out. But one of the things that I'm struggling with is the the newsletter was about the first non-military interactive game that he could find, and it was from like the late 50s or early 60s, and it was a a business recording. It was a business simulator. So that simulation stuff probably could. I'm interested in the sort of lineage here. And like obviously a bunch of Infocom writers are not, doing business simulations in the 50s of like that were run by Rand and things like that. But I'm curious, like the rules were there, so I'm curious if there was that kind of depth to it. Um, but maybe not. But we should be heading to our apartment. Yeah, Parkview Apartments. You're in the vestibule of a typical high-rise city apartment building. A wide expanse of labeled buzzers and tiny mailboxes fills one wall. The mailboxes have been extensively vandalized and graffiti is sprayed across every surface. Shattered glass doors, held together by cheap wooden boards, lie close to the west. Near to this inner door is a tangle of cords where a picture phone has been ripped out by vandals. Can we just walk west? Unlock door. Door opens. Go west. You enter the inner lobby, and since the elevators are out as usual, you slowly walk up the several flights to your floor. You're standing in the hall at the door to your apartment, which lies close to the north. Stairs and elevators to the street are off to the east. Unlock door. Let's go. Let's record on, and let's go to the north. This is the large living area of your apartment with a bedroom to the north and a kitchen to the east. Front door of your apartment next to the couch on the south wall is open. A huge window provides a panoramic view to the west. Jill's current artistic endeavor, a pencil sketch, is on her easel near the entrance to the kitchen. In one corner is the old word processor where you do your writing. Jill is sitting on the couch, staring morosely out the window. Looking at this sketch, the sketch is dark and brooding, depicting a demonic figure towering over a frightened group of children. It's been months since you last saw Jill working on it. Let's not bother Jill. Actually, no. Let's kiss Jill. Jill kisses you briefly without much enthusiasm. Every other year that we have done that, she has done it. Ooh la la. Talk to Jill? Jill looks at you expectantly, as if you seem to be about to talk. Ask Jill about painting. Ask Jill about sketch. X Jill. Jill has aged dramatically during the last decade, an effect heightened by the fact that Jill has become more and more withdrawn. She has lost interest in many things, including her appearance. She's sitting on the couch, staring morosely out the window. Look out window. Through the gray haze that covers western Rockville, you can discern an ugly industrial slum where thousands upon thousands of serfs live in substandard shacks, running the factories and mines that support Rockville's urban nobility. Let's go to the kitchen. One of the most fun things has been eating all the food in the house. This is the tiny kitchen of your apartment. Next to the sink is a small refrigerator. Along the western wall, next to the doorway to the living area, is a dinette set. Open fridge. Look in fridge. The fridge is empty. Close fridge. Ooh. Let's turn off the recording for now. Let's go north. Bedroom is sparsely furnished with a bed and bureau. A doorway leads south to the living room. Bathroom is to the east. Let's go to the bathroom. The plain bathroom is just large enough to accommodate a sink, a toilet, and a shower stall. The bedroom is to the west. So this is cheating, but take shower. You discover the hot water is out again today, so you decide to forego the shower. Actually, record on. Take shower. Oh my god. You discover that the hot water is out again today, so you decide to forego the shower. You hear a loud noise from the front door and dash into the living room as 6 or 8 heavily armed church police storm into the apartment. See a look of horror come over Jill as she covers her mouth with the back of her hand, as though stifling some silent scream. You follow her gaze and a shock of recognition, sauntering in behind the police. The 10 years since you last saw him have left scant change on the face of your son. Mitchell! You yell, and you take a step toward him, but a blow from one of the cops sends your frail old body flying against the wall. She is the one. The voice is Mitchell's, but the tone is cold, unrecognizable, sending shivers through you. He raises a fur-clad arm, pointing at his mother without a hint of emotion. She spake against the church. She tried to poison the mind of a child too young to know the truth. The thugs grab Jill, who reaches toward Mitchell, tears of terror streaming down her face. Totally unresponsive, he turns and walks calmly out of the apartment. As Jill is dragged, screaming and crying through the front door, you try to follow, but a cop pummels you in the stomach with his club. You fall to the floor, retching, as the apartment door slams closed, shutting you off forever from the son you cannot understand and the wife you will never see again. Good timing on that recording. So this has been a consistent theme where the cops do all kinds of weird shit. But now it's super bad. And your own son has completely turned against you. He already turned against you in the last simulation, but this is a bridge. This is a bridge very far. Look at the word processor. It's an old model, but it was the best word processor you could afford. Right? Right at WP. You're not in the proper... Oh, damn it. You're not in the proper mood for writing. Wham! The door of your apartment slams open and a half-dozen border security force officers storm in, rifles ready. You freeze as they tramp about the apartment, wielding rad detectors. Almost without reason, they tear your curtains, spill food onto the kitchen floor, and overturn furniture. After a few nightmare minutes, they seem satisfied and march out without a word, leaving the door open behind them. Alright, let's get out of here. We're at Southway Park. We're at Elman Park. And the courthouse should be to the northwest. So let's record on and go to the courthouse. The courthouse is of the same vintage as the other governmental buildings in the area, dating from about 1990 or so. An exit leads southeast. The court is in session. 20 pathetic, emaciated people are being tattooed for upcoming execution matches for cheating on their food allowance. This is the headquarters for all the city's precinct stations. Building is at least 105 years old, and it's obviously badly in need of renovation. Beneath the reception desk, empty jail cells are visible. The desk officer looks at you expectantly. The only exit is northeast. Let's do this. Report crime. The officer recites a rapid sing-song about the various forms and official channels and procedures and personnel required for the reporting of a crime. So, interesting. Okay. Let's get it out of here, and then let's go to the post office. This is an old post office, probably built back in the days when mail usually meant letters and packages delivered by human messengers. The windows along the counter are all closed. One bears a crude handwritten sign that reads "Open daily, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m." The doorway leads out to the northwest. Out of the corner of your eye, you glimpse something that looks like a panhandler being dragged into an alley, but when you turn, you see nothing. Rockville Center, the name of the plaza says it all. The crumbling portico of City Hall stretches across the west side of the plaza, and Dunbar's lies on the southeast corner. Park Street leads north and south. Main Street and Center Street both begin here, leading eastward and northeastward, respectively. Let's go west. The city's seat of government is an old concrete slab building dating back to the late 20th century. The interior is decrepit. It looks as though no maintenance has been performed here for years. The only exit is east. I'm going to record that as well. Great. The scream comes from a nearby building, but before you can even determine the direction, it is stopped. And this is fascinating that it's... Because the first simulation, you're just like walking around, doing stuff, having fun, stealing your baby's food, waking your baby, all these kinds of things. And now it's violent and scary. And I'm impressed by the amount of sort of creeping dread that I'm feeling playing this. You know, it, especially since the beginning of this was so lighthearted and kind of, oh, this is going to be adorable. And now there's a real, at least for me, an emotional reaction here. And I love that. I think that's genuinely incredible. And a credit to the writing. You know, C. Moretsky was one of the most prolific of the writers, but I'm genuinely impressed, you know, especially given that this is 1985. You know, this isn't necessarily like late. This is still before Hitchhiker's Guide, you know? So let's go to Dunbar's. Let's go to Dunbar's. Let's buy some clothes. A security guard stops you at the doorway, scrutinizing you with a haughty sneer. Do you have an appointment? Yes. Name on that appointment? Sims. Sorry, sir, there's no appointment in that name. The guard leads you firmly away from the building before leaving. Let's try again. Recording it, though. No. Next time, please call for an appointment beforehand. The guard leads you firmly away from the building before leaving. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Let's keep going north. We're at Hallian Park. You're on Park Street at the eastern terminus of Halley Drive. North of here, Park Street descends into a tunnel under the estates that were once Halley Park. Halley Museum, once the city's pride but now closed for several years, fronts the intersection to the southwest, and Huang Hall can be entered to the east. So, I did not have this on my map. So there's the museum, Huang Hall. So I did have this on my map. I just didn't have it labeled. Let's go to Huang Hall. This multi-purpose hall is used for conventions, trade shows, and even an occasional sporting event. The current activity seems to be preparations for the televised annual Executioners Awards. You can exit to the east or west. Let's continue east. At this intersection, Center Street cuts across Kennedy Street from northeast to southwest. The tall hotel has entrances to the east and southeast. The austere facade of Huang Hall rises to the west. Kennedy Street continues north and south. Across the street, a beggar attempts to approach a wealthy couple and is beaten into unconsciousness by bodyguards. Let's try to get in the hotel. Its high-rise luxury hotel is frequented by business travelers attending conventions at Huang Hall across the street. The exit from the lobby is to the northwest. Okay. Let's try to get to Badansky. Oh, that's where we started. This is Badansky. Okay. Isn't there a park I can go to? Yeah. If I go... If I go north, we're at Aquarium and River. Aquarium Drive from this west ends at this T intersection with River Street. There's a modern theater building to the northwest and an older one to the east. On the southwest corner, it's an empty lot. This is the lobby of a well-maintained theater built on the site of the original Wells Theater, which dates to the middle of the last century. According to the showcase, the current season includes productions of several recent ecumenical plays. Theater has exits to the northeast and southeast. There used to be a church to the southwest. Can't go that way. Okay. Oh, wait. This is a vacant lot where a Protestant church once stood until it was torched a few years ago by a mob of serfs aroused by a church revival. You reach an overgrown car lot to the south, or the street to the northeast. I think I want to go to this car lot. This parking lot is unused and weeds are beginning to poke through the asphalt. You can reach the street to the east and west. A vacant lot is north of here. Backed up Badansky Square. A thin teenager passes you, kicking a dented tin can. The road east of the airport begins here. River Street continues north towards the reservoir, curving around a run along its southern shore. A church school, a theater, and a hotel can be entered to the west, southwest, and southeast, respectively. To the northeast is the perimeter fence of the Manville Border Security Force base. There's no way to enter the base from here. Well, let's go to this school, the Vincent School. The old Rockville High building was purchased by the Church of God's Word after the public school system shut down in 2058. Let's record that. Let's go northwest. We're at River and Kennedy. River Street, after paralleling Kennedy Street across the river, curves westward and intersects it here. Kennedy ends at this point since the reservoir forms the northern border of River Street. The Vincent School is on the southeast corner, and its athletic field is southwest of here. Okay, let's go to the athletic field. This is an outdoor athletic field for the Vincent School, with facilities for baseball and soccer, as well as track and field events. Bleachers line one side of the field, and there are exits in the fence to the northeast and northwest. Several larger children gather around you menacingly. "We don't allow animals on the church land, Pops," one of them says, poking you sharply in the chest with his fingers. Some of the others begin picking up stones. A circle of older children closes in on you with heavy rocks. In the background, you can hear younger ones chanting a familiar rhyme. "Pick an apple, bake a pie, animals deserve to die." For a moment, the entire field seems frozen in a tableau, and then a volley of stones is unleashed. One strikes you in the forehead. Simulation terminated. Holy cow, we died. We died in the simulation. You know what's great? We don't die in real life. Let's clear our... It's only 6:31. Yeah, Dr. Perelman. Show Perelman recordings. Show recordings to Perelman. You've recorded something interesting, eh? Let me get a few of my colleagues together. We'll reveal the buffer. So on the one hand, obviously you have to like say you're doing the thing, but I wish there was a little bit more variety here. All right, wait 120 minutes. Perlman walks into the office and spots the active light on your communication unit immediately. Hello, Prism, he says, sitting down at his desk. I'm said don't capture the cursor. There we go. Hello, Prism, he says, sitting down at his desk. It looks like you beat me here. Give me a moment, please. He begins quickly jotting a few notes onto a pad. Perlman looks up. Prism, several of my colleagues and I have finished viewing the recordings that you made, and we certainly have some serious concerns based on them, especially regarding the 2071 recordings. However, you didn't show us quite enough from 2061 or anything from 2081 to really give us a complete picture. Maybe you could collect some more data, make some more recordings, and then report back to us. Well, I've got to run, but I'll talk to you later. He leaves the room. This is fascinating to me. This is really, really good game design to, in fiction, tell you what you need to do. And that's something that I struggle with a lot with earlier games. And even later games, to be honest. You know, what are we doing here exactly? But this is really cool. So I need to go back to 2061, and there's 2081. So neat. 10, 64. Ten, 64, 12. So 40 years into the future is 70. So let's do 30 years into the future. Back at Southway and River. It's what it was like before, well, before later. So, okay. We're at Southway and River, and we need to make more bad shit happen. Boy, okay. That's Haymon World. Okay, cool. Curious what I need to do. What happens if I go to Perez Tower? Doorman not recognize you as a resident roughly turns you away before entering the building. So we have the Infotech building. It's the fifth tallest building in the world. This is the heart of the downtown area, flanked by classical glass and steel skyscrapers. Skybus Terminal is on the northwest corner. To the southwest is an entrance to a construction site. Ooh, new construction site. The skyscraper on the northeast corner is one of Rockville's most famous landmarks, the Infotech building. This 130-story office tower is the tallest building in the city and the fifth tallest in the world. The high-rise building on the southeast corner is the Sillycorp building, tall office tower. From this intersection, Main Street runs east and west, and Kennedy Street can take you north or south. So let's try to go to... Yep. Can't go in. As you enter, a security guard, seeing that you have no badge, roughly pushes you back onto the street and then returns to the building. Okay. We're at Main and Kennedy. Let's go to Dunbar's. You've entered a very swank department store catering exclusively to the wealthy elite. Racks in this part of the store are filled with plainer garments. The exit to the street is northwest. Let's look at the racks. Clothes on the few racks near you are mostly in the drab browns and olives worn by the lower classes. Over in the restricted areas of the store, you can spot racks laden with stylish clothes in the violets and golds favored by churchmen and the other landowners. We just wanted to record that. Buy clothes. After wincing at the prices, you pick out a thin imitation wool vest. A clerk removes the anti-theft tag from the garment. After a moment, the clerk returns your card, informing you that your account has been debited for $120, and your new balance is $80. Record off. Wear vest. You're now wearing the vest. Okay. Well, let's leave. A pregnant woman walks past you, sobbing quietly. You turn, but she is gone, swallowed up by the crowds. No one in City Hall. Elman Park. Record on. The courthouse is of the same vintage as other governmental buildings in the area, dating from around 1990 or so. An exit leads southeast. The court is in session. An Asian American juvenile has just been handed a life sentence for violating the Uniform Morality Code. Going northeast to the construction site. There is a construction project in progress here. Kennedy Park Condominiums. Elegant urban living. Opening December 15th, 2061. Rockville Development Corp. The project is still in the early stages, with trees being torn up on one end of the site and digging for the foundation going on at the other end. So we're back to the grocery store. Let's record on. Let's try buying groceries. Wander down the aisles, but the food is so sparse and unappetizing that you decide not to buy anything. Record off. Okay. Let's go to the church. Church building is closed. Right. Let's get the pamphlet. Let's record on. Let's read pamphlet. I don't know if I read this before. Hear and obey the word of God. Ever since the brave crusade of the holy prophet Vincent against the evil sinners of the Mount, the priests of the Church of God's Word have been the sacred guardians of God's mouth, passing along his word as sent down from the heavens. The Lord Most High has been growing angry at his flock, angry that there are some who do not heed his word. He is sending a sign, a fiery star that will soon burn in our nighttime skies, to warn us that all created in his image must become brethren of his church. Punishment for not doing so will be swift and cruel, and directed not just against the sinners, but all of mankind, such that all will suffer for the sins of the few. Our Father and Creator is demanding, but he is also generous and kind. When the day arrives that all men have joined his church and heed his word, he will bring down upon the earth an epoch of such peace and beauty as the world has not seen since Eden. The choice he gives us is simple. Turn away and suffer, or follow and live to see heaven on earth. Well, that's interesting. A police van pulls up, and two policemen load a sleeping drunk into the back. I am not reading descriptions that we've seen before. Let's go southwest. It's the First Methodist Church. This building exhibits both best and worst features of 21st century neoclassical architecture. The congregation must have once been very large, judging by the size of the car lot to the south. So let's go back north, Aquarium and River. Got it. You're at a perpendicular intersection formed by North-South Kennedy Street and the East-West Aquarium Drive. On the northeast corner is the Chun Building, a small office building. On the other corner, scanning clockwise, are a dental school, the aquarium, and a bank. The Mortimer Dental School is a fairly small school. The way out is to the northwest. Yep, not letting me into any of these buildings. Let's go to the park. Oh, there's a fast food restaurant. All right, let's go to the fast food restaurant. Burger World. It's a fast food restaurant serving soy and kelp burgers, a variety of algae products, and beer. All beef dishes on the menu board have been crudely covered over. Stools provide ample seating. The only way out is northwest. Let's look at the menu board. Oh. No new information. Your line moves slowly. I'm ordering food. Your line moves slowly. The person in front of you orders a quarter-pound soy burger, and it looks halfway decent. So when you reach the counter, you decide to order one also. It arrives a moment later. After a moment, the bartender returns your card, informing you that your account has been debited for $20 and that your new balance is $60. You sit down at one of the tiny tables to devour it. It's edible. Can I get a beer? You give your card to the bartender. After a moment, the bartender returns your card, informing you that your account has been debited for $8 and that your new balance is $52. He gives you a tall, foamy mug of beer. Drink beer. Down the broom, the bartender clears away the empty. Okay. Interesting. No, can't go that way. Back at Aquarium and Park. I wonder if I can take the Sky Car anywhere. This is an unusually large Sky Car service center where people can bring their cars for a quick battery replacement, scheduled maintenance, or minor repairs. The exit to the street is southeast. You're on Aquarium Drive, where a road branches off to the south into the zoo. To the west, the drive passes under the old interstate. North of here is the entrance to a stadium Sky Car lot. Down the block, you can see two youths wearing Church of God's Word pendants, harassing a middle-aged Hasidic Jew. You're on Aquarium Drive, where it passes under the old elevated highway that runs through the city. To the east is the north side of town, and to the west are to the suburbs. Nope, can't go to the suburbs still. I'm trying. I just want to go to the suburbs. Let's go to the zoo. The Rockville Zoological Garden is a moderately sized zoo nestled between grassy hills. The main entrance lies to the north, with other exits east and southeast. You can just make out the old elevated interstate forming the western border of the zoo. At a nearby cage, a group of children are taunting, one might even say torturing a small animal using rocks and pointy sticks. Can I record that? Nope. Okay. This is the western half of Halley Park, bordered on the north by a car lot, on the northwest and west by the zoo, and on the south by Halley Drive. A dried up pond bed fills the center of the park. Near the zoo entrance is an entrance leading down to the tubes. It's dry and filled with debris. Search pond. You find nothing unusual. I don't know the word debris. Okay. Now we're back there. University Avenue begins here, winding southwards into the college. Alongside the north side of the street is Halley Park. Just to the west is the highway entrance. Sidewalks and streets are crowded with people. You're on University Avenue in the center of a nearly deserted urban campus. There's a dormitory complex on the western side of the road, and other buildings to the northeast and southeast. The street continues north and south. You have entered one building in the dormitory complex, the very same dorm where you once lived for several terms when you were a student at the university. Many doors open onto a nearby lounge. The building is silent as a tomb. The street lies to the east. Enter lounge? That would be impolite. The lounge is reserved for dorm residents. No one's here! Let me in! Okay. This is a decaying. I'm gonna record that. This is a decaying lecture hall with several hundred seats, surrounded by several smaller classrooms and professors' offices. An exit leads northwest. So, student union's still there. This is just ain't there no more, like, you know, incarnate. Okay. What if I take the tubes? Let's record on. And just wait. Enter car. Yeah, let's go to the airport. Let's just wait and go to the airport. I don't want to go to Badansky Square. Oh, well, fine. Record buffer full. Well, let's see if that gave me enough. So, it's way, way, way too early for Dr. Perelman, so I went to sleep. And... okay. No, wait. Shoot. Did that wrong. Dark gray, 95. 95, 90. Alerting security staff. I'm gonna save really quick, and hopefully I didn't just screw myself up. But we'll find out. I just really hope I didn't lose 2 hours of playing. Well, hour and a half. Okay. Let's just wait for Dr. Perelman to show up. There we go. Dr. Perelman walks into the office carrying a cup of coffee. He sits down at his desk, places the coffee mug almost out of sight before your monitor, and begins working. Show recordings to Perelman. Wait 120 minutes. Let's wait. Prism. Several of my colleagues and I have finished viewing the recordings that you made, and everyone agreed that 2051, 2061, and 2071 all look disturbing, but there wasn't anything interesting from 2081. Perhaps things turn around. Maybe you could collect some more data, make some more recordings, and then report back to us. Well, I've got to run, but I'll talk to you later. Alright, enter simulation mode. Yellow 93. Yellow 93. 50 years in the future. Because 40 years in the future would be 71. Yeah. How do I get to... Alright. Enter library mode. Nope. How do we get to 2081? This is me cheating. Um, hmm. Okay. So enter interface mode. Simulation controller status. Good to know. Ah, I just need to hang out in 2071 more. Great, great, great. Okay. Enter simulation mode. Dark blue, 91. Dark blue. Dark blue, dark blue. Light blue. Dark gray. No. Alright. I'm going to assume that that's blue. Okay. So I just need to hang out longer. That's cool. There were things that I wanted to do. I want to go to the zoo. I want to go to Halley Park. So Bodansky Square. Let's go west, west. Let's keep going west. Oh. You're on Kennedy Street near an entrance to the estates for the wealthy, built on what was formerly Halley Park to the west. On the east side of the street is a large abandoned car lot. Kennedy continues to the north and south. I tried to go west to go into the park. The gates of the estate are all locked. Besides, the grounds are certainly thoroughly guarded. You'd be shot on sight if you were found within the walls. I don't need to record anymore, but still. So my goal before we take a break is to unlock 2081. I think we can do that. That's a bummer. I wanted to go to the zoo. What about the aquarium? So no, let's go back this way. Oh, museum. I can go see a movie. The Downtown Cinema Quad is a seedy 4-theater movie complex. Carpeting is dirty and torn, and the air is rank with a mixture of putrid odors. A marquee above the ticket window announces the current features. A hallway leads into the theaters, and there are exits north and east to car lots and southeast of the street. Read marquee. According to the marquee, the current features of the cinema are 2 hate films, a lust film called Wild and Woolly, and a church propaganda piece called Triumph of Man. Buy ticket. You insert your card to the ticket seller, readout flashes New Balance, $85, and a ticket pops out into your hand. Watch. Movie. The usher takes your ticket and you step into the darkened theater and find an empty seat. You begin watching an untitled hate film, preceded by a 5-minute church propaganda short. Most of the audience is much younger, many are still in their teens. When they begin chanting in rhythm with the mobs on the screen, you begin to feel very uncomfortable. After about 15 minutes, you decide you've seen enough and head out into the lobby. That's fascinating. So it's directly they have something sort of akin to the Feelies with the joy booths, and now they absolutely have a reference to the 10 Minutes of Hate from 1984, and that's that direct of a reference. I think in both cases, I think builds the world rather than like takes away from it. So I'm definitely intrigued. I wish it gave a little bit more information, but like understanding that this isn't like a huge map, but there's a ton of random events, there's a ton of state tracking. Um, it's not like a huge actual map, but realizing that it's multiplied by 5, and still like eminently traversable. I think that that's really interesting. Okay, let's go to the street. Where else can I go? Um, kind of want to go to the airport. Let's go to, yeah, River and Kennedy. Vincent School. Reservoir is still fenced off. Airport Way. There we go. Road east to the airport begins here. Oh, here we go. Symphony entrance. Airport Way curves northeast along the river to the airport, and the road leads north into the military base. On the south side of the street is Symphony Hall, and next to it is a car lot. A faded sign on the boarded up doors reads Symphony closed until further notice. Well, record on. Oh, hang on. There we go. The diffuse glow of the sun is nearly straight overhead, another gray noontime. It's interesting. We're at the base gate. This is the entrance gate to the Manville Border Security Force base. The base road continues northwest into the base and southwest away from it. The gate is closed. A guard jabbing you painfully with the point of his weapon informs you that non-military personnel are not allowed beyond this point. Swimming the river is inadvisable. The current is strong and the water is extremely poisoned and polluted. But I have everything to move forward. So I just am chilling, spending time in this simulation. Airport Way ends here in a huge loop past the terminal buildings of Rockville International Airport. The main terminal building can be entered to the north, and the road leads southwest to the city. Oh, damn. Should have recorded this. The main terminal building has an exit to Airport Way on the south. The airport gates are east of here, and to the north are shuttered gates of the once thriving spaceport. There's a large red sign over the gates, and BSF guards are everywhere. Plasterboards seal off a stairway leading down. Nearby, a man with an Asian complexion is walking past a pair of BSF guards, and one of their built rad detectors clicks. In the wink of an eye, 4 guns are pointed at the man, who looks terrified and begins to run. As the guns explode, people all around are screaming and throwing themselves on the ground. The Asian's mutilated body lays sprawled in the middle of the terminal. A guard cautiously approaches the dead man with a rad detector. He scans the body until he finds the source of the signal. Just a nuke-powered wristwatch, he laughs, waving the other guards over. Can you imagine this guy being dumb enough to wear one of them near a border point, that was a slur, which I refuse to say. They shake their heads in disbelief as they drag the body away. So, this is a very different moment of I refuse to say that word than I feel like I ran into with necrotic drift. I feel like in this case, yeah, you didn't have to. I mean, it's 2071. You probably could have made up any kind of, future slur. But again, this is all like impressive that this is unsettling, like genuinely, as opposed to just a simulacrum of being unsettling. Like this is not comfortable right now, and I'm impressed by the writing. It's definitely not novel writing, and that's its own thing. But I just I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated. I wish I recorded that, but I already have everything. So this is all just waiting. Um, Actually, I wonder if I can check. Nope, you can't talk to simulation mode. Okay. But I only needed 300 more minutes, but it's only been an hour. I do wish that like I had more. So it's interesting. So like the first time that I did this, I spent what I felt like was so much time just needlessly wandering to find things. And I don't know if it's that like I have a full map now and I know where I'm going and it's like, "Oh, let me go to the airport now." There's got to be something at the airport finally. I feel like the hits are just coming. And the plot points are just like non-stop at this point. Um, so I'm just kind of going to the river district right now, just kind of like running down river. An ugly mob bearing signs and banners with church symbols, possibly looking for a lynching victim, appears down the street. You begin looking for a hiding place, but fortunately the mob turns onto an adjoining street. You stand frozen for a minute as the sounds from the mob recede. Oh, hey, I haven't looked at these yet. So River Street curves here, heading downtown to the north and under an old railroad bridge to the southeast. To the northeast is an entrance to a massive indoor city, which we've seen. A row of stores around the curve on the other side of the street: laundromat, pharmacy, hardware store. Hardware store. Um, okay. So again, like what am I supposed to do here? No, I want to go southeast. You've crossed the proverbial railroad tracks. Oh, this is the soup kitchen. Let's keep going east. We're at the factory entrance. Wicker Drive, which runs northeast to southwest. An alley forks off to the east. The gun shop is north of here. Let's go to the gun shop. Buy gun. The proprietor shows you many different firearms, and you finally settle on a 22 caliber pellet gun. However, when you pass your credit card through the grill to the proprietor, he looks disappointed as he announces you don't have enough in your account for that particular gun. In fact, he says, I doubt there's anything in the shop in your price range. You might try Ribeiro's secondhand firearms over in Yankton. That's interesting. Let's go down this alley. This long, narrow, dim alley is flanked by tall, featureless walls. The alley, which begins to the west, ends east of here at a back doorway through which loud, raucous music can be heard. Open door. It is. Oh, okay. Cord on. This is a tiny, smoke-filled bar with exits to the west and northeast. Loud, distorted music comes from an old jukebox. Battered wooden stools are the only seating. The bar is filled with tough-looking serfs and black marketeers. Buy beer? You give your card to the bartender. After a moment, the bartender returns your card, informing you that your account has been debited for $8 and that your new balance is $77. Gives you a tall, foamy mug of beer. Let's keep going to east. We're at the pier. This is an aging riverfront pier, ending abruptly at the river edge. Jagged, splintered wood at the end of the pier reveals that it once extended further out into the river. To the northwest, the pier intersects with Wicker Drive. A bar opens to the southwest, and a pool hall to the northeast. Let's just go northeast. This is a classless establishment, which has clearly seen its better days. The odor of burnt tobacco pervades the room. A door to the pier lies to the southwest. Play pool. Knock a few balls around, but as usual, you have to admit that you're not very good at cuesmanship. Okay. Well, we've done a lot. I just want to get out of here. This is a malodorous, disease-ridden, rat-infested slum. The exit is to the southeast. Didn't mean to go that way, but I did. A liquor store occupies the southern corner. Let's go to a liquor store. Buy scotch. Pick out a bottle of cheap scotch. After a moment, the clerk returns your card, informing you that your account has been debited for $22 and that your new balance is $55. Great, I have a scotch. Drink scotch. Jill would kill you if you came home drunk. Isn't Jill dead? How do I get out of here? North. Northeast. Oh, hey. I think I'm a 10. I can go to the grocery. Alright, let me go to the grocery. Give clerk ration card. Clerk says, oh, wow. So because I didn't have this stuff out, the clerk says, listen, Joker, I don't have all day. Motions to a bouncer, grabs you roughly by the collar, and tosses you out on the street. Open. Wallet. Oh. Oh, I keep hitting all the wrong buttons. I keep getting kicked back to the street, and I'm so confused. So I went southeast. You were in a large, well-known restaurant, one that we've eaten at before. Opulent in the extreme and known to be restricted to the highest ecclesiastics of the church. Car lot in the street lie to the northwest. The maitre d' spots you, gestures a velvet-swathed arm towards a bouncer waiting in the shadows. Throw this animal back out on the street. He sniffs. The bouncer grabs your collar and shoves you through the doorway. Try to go to the grocery again. According to the note on the door, the Foodville is only open from 11:30 a.m. until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Let's go to the cemetery. Nope. Okay, we've been to the cemetery. Oh, I got robbed finally. So I'm basically just walking around. This is a typical four-way intersection. We've been here before. Um, so things that have happened again, like these random events are happening faster and faster. A BSF patrol is moving down the block, searching people indiscriminately. Fortunately, they pass by without stopping you. And then, okay, I moved another place. Crack. Something hits you from behind. As you crumple to the ground, you catch a glimpse of someone wielding a metal bar. Unknown minutes later, your head clears and you stagger slowly to your feet. Everything that you were carrying is gone. Oh, I kind of wanted to see what's going on with the Infotech building. Same stuff. Same stuff. Okay. This is the heart of the downtown area, flanked by classical glass and steel skyscrapers. The Skybus terminal on the northwest corner has been closed for several years, following an unprofitable experiment to sell the Skybus system to a private company. The entrance is boarded over. Oh, why don't I go to Kennedy Park, actually? The security guard stops you. Oh, wait, no. We've already done this. I want to go south. I want to go to Kennedy Plaza. The entrances to the townhouses are all closed. Oh, the park's gone and it's just townhouses. Let's go to a large old building with an impressive facade. It's a stock exchange. Can we go up? No. So I'm just bumming around trying to find different things. Church police paddy wagon coasts slowly down the street, stopping here and there to take someone prisoner. So Kennedy Plaza, or Kennedy Park, seems to have been completely removed. Yeah. So we're at Elm and Kennedy, so northwest. Yeah. So it's high security townhouses now. Let's go to the hospital. Rockville General Hospital is an old but prestigious facility, which is the center of some brief rioting last year when two injured serfs died at the admitting entrance after being refused entry for class reasons. A nurse sits at the admitting desk. The exit is northeast and the hallway leads southwest to the annex. Talk to nurse. Ask nurse about injury, about medicine, about admitting. Okay, but I think we can end the simulation now. Just trying to enter. I'm just trying to talk to simulation mode. Simulation controller status. So yeah, I think we're over the amount that we need. So enter communications mode, PEOF, show recordings to payroll men. So I clear it. Oh, hey, cool. Wait 120 minutes. We need stuff from 2081. Save. I'm 99% sure that I can get to 2081. And then maybe we can finish this game. That would be neat. Yes, I'm overwriting it. But let me double check that before we take a break. Light blue, 61. Light blue, 61. Yeah, we can get to 2081. Let's take a 10-minute break. Let's get back to this. I really want to finish this. The street runs from west to east where a bridge is visible. A crude sign is posted just west of here. Another road leads south into a different section of town where smoke billows upward from scattered fires. Buildings all along the street look typically looted and deserted. A grocery store, its large plate glass window shattered, is on the southwest corner. On the southeast corner is the burnt-out shell of a building, and an overgrown cemetery lies to the north. As usual, all the telephone poles have been chopped down for firewood. Buxton Briggs, so I'm reading the sign, Buxton Briggs territory begins here. Outsiders will be killed on sight. The street where, once a lovely old cemetery, the land is now overgrown and the headstones toppled and vandalized. Snarled bushes and trees provide countless hiding places for thieves and cutthroats. With a rustle of leaves, someone leaps out of concealment. You barely catch a glimpse of a grizzled man wearing a torn denim outfit before a fist cracks you across the face. You pass out as you begin rolling down the hillside. Sometime later, you come to. We're back to the same spot. Let's look at ourselves. Through your torn clothes, you can see malnutrition sores on your thin, bony arms. Let's go to the grocery store. This grocery has been thoroughly looted. The shelves are all bare. The floor is strewn with broken glass, and a rancid odor pervades the store. The only exit leads back out to the northeast, to the street corner northeast of here. A disgusting pile of mold towards the rear indicates where some soy patties were once stored. Let's look at the mold. Totally ordinary looking pile of mold. Okay. We're at the Coachman. This burned out shell of a building was once a famous restaurant back in the civilized days. The blackened timbers shiver as you walk through the ashes. As you pass the sign, 3 men armed with knives leap out of a doorway and neatly slit your throat. As you lose consciousness, you feel them going through your pockets. All right, let's try again. Black 89. Black 89. So record on. Let's go west. We die. Enters simulation. Tan 22. So I have a feeling that this is all just going to be instant deaths. All right, so we don't go west. We don't go west. Okay. Let's go to the east. Main Street Bridge. This once proud bridge is now rusted and neglected. And to the west, the road enters the city, and an intersection is visible in that direction. A blood-soaked sack is lying at the edge of the bridge. You hear the sound of distant barking to the east. The barking continues. In fact, the sound seems to be getting closer. Looking at the sack is soaked with blood and shows traces of the wild fruits that grow beyond the city. Judging by how the sack has been clawed to pieces, it would seem that the owner was killed by wild animals rather than humans. The barking continues. In fact, the sound seems to be getting closer. Let's just keep barking. A pack of wild dogs enters the building from the east, barking wildly. They tear towards you, driven by mindless animal hunger, saliva dripping from rabid fangs. You run towards the city, but the fastest of the dogs lunges and sinks its fangs into your leg. You fall, and in a split second, the other animals are on top of you as well. Okay. Enter simulation. Orange 58. So north? Nope, can't go north. South. Rats. Well, I will have to record that. Rats scamper among the weeds growing through the cracks in the street and among the ruined buildings. A pallor of smoke hangs in the air, and a distant sound like a drumbeat gives the area the feel of a surreal jungle. Suddenly, you're surrounded by a group of men clad only in loincloths, their face marked with charcoal in an identical tribal pattern. You're quickly bound and gagged and carried to an open area where many people with similar facial markings are gathered. You're tossed helplessly into the center of the clearing amidst bones that are unmistakably human. Wood is quickly gathered for a bonfire, and you're rudely thrown upon it. Through the agonizing pain of the fire, you hear the tribal members chanting. Your last sight is one of your captors tending to the fire and salivating like a wild animal. Oh, dang it. Light green 77, 25. Okay, I can't go west. I can't go north. Can't go south. Can I just keep going east? Within seconds, a pack of wild dogs surrounds you and begins tearing you to shreds. It's Foodville. Coachman. Oh, let's record that. Oh, going back into the Coachman while it was recording. The entire roof suddenly shudders. Amid screams of splintering wood and billows of ash and dust, it collapses upon you. So, I mean, at least they got their chance to put in all the instant deaths. I'm still confused about the interface mode. Like, Is the interface mode really just for the simulation? I don't know. Aqua 94. Okay. Well, let's sleep. Let's wait 120 minutes. Wait 30 minutes just so that it's 10 o'clock. Let's enter communications mode. Let's go to the POF. Actually, let's check out what's on the World News Network feed. Your visual and audio circuits are now hooked directly to the programming of the World News Network. You see a static stylized graphic of an artificial satellite beaming data. Large red letters, sorry, smaller white letters. The WNN is temporarily unavailable in your area due to satellite transmitter servicing. We apologize for the inconvenience. Nothing to do. Okay. Dr. Perelman comes in. Show recordings to Perelman. Perelman walks into the office and spots the active light on your communication unit immediately. Hello, Prism, he says, sitting down at his desk. It looks like you beat me here. Give me a moment, please. He begins quickly jotting a few notes onto a pad. This pad must have a million notes on it at this point. Herman looks up. Prism, several of my colleagues and I have finished viewing the recordings that you made, and everyone agreed that your findings were valid, that the plan must be canceled. His face is furrowed with worry. In fact, I'm flying to Washington immediately. Flight's in 40 minutes. His face brightens a bit. You know, I've been so concerned about your recordings, I haven't had time to think about your role in this. What initiative! You've really done something wonderful here. I feel... Perelman hesitates. I feel proud of you right now. He grabs his jacket and briefcase. Well, keep your fingers crossed. Dashes out of the office. Part 3. Who hears may be incredulous, who witnesses believes. Emily Dickinson. So I've done all of the simulations, I think. Let's go to the Research Center rooftop. No. Let's go to the cafeteria. Nope, this is all the same. Still temporarily unavailable. A message begins coming over the message line. Message to Prism from Emily Warren, manager of auxiliary system functions. Another device is about to be added to the Prism systems, namely the World News Network feeder. It will go online in 4 to 5 hours. This notification is purely procedural and requires no acknowledgement. Message begins coming over the message line. Perelman to Prism, private line, no storage. Prism, I'm just back from Washington. I met with the New Plan Authority for several hours. We reviewed all the tapes. They rejected the contents outright. They called the recordings fakes. They refused to act on them. Several members even questioned my patriotism, made vague threats. I don't know what to do next. I'm going to meet with some of my colleagues here to discuss things. I'll keep you posted. Announcement, all lines, priority interrupt. This is Major General Dirk Peters of the Manitoba National Guard Division. Security leak that could threaten our national security has been discovered here at the Prism facility. The entire complex has been sealed off. No one will be permitted to enter or leave until further notice. The office door opens and Dr. Perlman walks in. You can see at least two National Guardsmen stationed outside the door. A moment later, a second man walks in, a man with charismatic presence, a man you instantly recognize from myriad news reports, Richard Ryder. Ryder's most striking features are his sharp eyes, his thick, blown dry hair, and his energetic charisma. Although he's red-faced, barking mad, the presence that has given him such wide public appeal is readily apparent. How dare you come in here with all... Perelman begins yelling before Ryder cuts him off with a sharp, "Shut up, Perelman. I'm doing the talking here, so get used to it. You're not in control here anymore, and I am." Perelman suddenly stiffens ever so slightly and nonchalantly slides some papers across his desk as though to cover something. "Now, let's get a few ground rules straight, Perelman. Nothing is stopping the plan. Even if I didn't think your damn tapes were faked, I wouldn't give a damn. A hell of a lot of people have a hell of a lot of stake in this thing. And so what if a lot of creeps who can't take care of themselves get a little hurt?" "I'm very frightened, Senator," says Perelman, his voice laced with sarcasm. "Shut up. I said I'm doing the talking here. And let me tell you another thing, Perelman. Don't think that just because you've been on the news and been a big hotshot around here, you're going to get some special consideration. Because all that doesn't mean diddly squat in the kind of power circles I'm talking about." Ryder is really getting worked up. His normal fatherly demeanor is completely gone. "Perelman, you're an even bigger idiot than I imagined if you think we'd let some two-bit egghead scientists and some high-tech whiz-bang computers stand in our way. Remember this. If you were to have some unforeseen accident, you wouldn't be the first person who's gotten crushed by standing in the way of the plan." Perelman, with a quick glance in your direction, says, "Quite an oration, Senator. Vintage thug. I wish I could save it for posterity. Would you be willing to go on with the record with that statement?" Ryder becomes even more livid. "A real jokester, huh? Let me tell you this, Perelman. You better stop joking and start listening to my advice. You're not going to be around to care about posterity, understand? So here's the bottom line, Perelman. My men are going to stay here and keep the lids shut tight on you troublemakers until the plan is the law of this land. Nobody leaves, no communications at all, and don't worry about visitors. We'll take care of that. And if I get any trouble out of you, I swear to God I'll personally pull the plug on that goddamn wonder machine of yours. Got it?" He stomps out without waiting for a reply, leaving Perelman sputtering in anger. A few seconds later, National Guardsmen enter and escort Perelman away. What else we got? Just trying to find new stuff. This is all... Whoa! Hey! We got a pair of National Guardsmen. You see a large, well-organized room filled with banks of terminals and similar equipment. A pair of National Guardsmen bearing rifles flank the doorway. Okay. Let's look at these interfaces. Okay, they don't have that. Okay. Okay. Alright, let's enter interface mode. Okay, so we don't have that. feel a strange sensation of physical disturbance which you cannot seem to pin down. You detect a throbbing feeling, almost like a dull pain or wave of heat, which is severely impairing your functioning. The dysfunction of your systems is becoming incredibly serious. You feel it almost as a burning pain. It numbs your mind, blocks your thought patterns. You feel your consciousness fade away. Shit, when was the last time I saved? Oh no. Alright. I did not save pretty recently. I wish this didn't happen. Oh, well, cool. 50. So I just have to die a bunch of times. Again. Light blue 40. Just want to get to the end of this game. Aqua 61. So this is all stuff that we've seen before. I'm just having to do it all again. Because I did not save. Dark green 52. Dark green 52. Okay. So this list is not quite correct, but that's fine. Yellow 49. White 29. So we've done all this before. I'm just trying to speed run it a little. All right, I think that's enough. All right, we're saving here, lest I make the same mistake 4 times. Okay. So I'm going to cheat and read this. Oh. So I can record out of. Okay. And now is when we use the interface mode. So I think I need to actually restore. Okay. So now that I'm recording it, okay. So let's start killing everybody. HVAC controller. Status. HVAC controller. Turn off. So ventilation in gamma sector. Let's do it for all sectors. No, not the living quarters. That's fucked up. Let's do it for the maintenance core and storage sections too. So we're gonna go to, well, let's go to where we saw them. I think it was PPCC. One technician, fanning herself with a sheet of paper, says, "It's getting stuffy in here. Anyone mind if I open a window?" Hearing no objections, she walks beyond the edge of your viewing area. A moment later, you hear a grunt and a sliding noise. Okay. Well, waited 120 minutes. Well, let's go to enter. Well, let's. I'm now following this walkthrough, cheating a little bit. Okay. allowing the Xeon. Yeah, they're... Shoot, that didn't work. Suddenly noticed something at the very edge of your viewing range. Perelman is being worked over by a couple of muscular thugs, both carrying illegalized fire guns. Perelman looks dazed and disheveled. A moment later, Senator Richard Ryder strides into your field of vision. "You won't crack, boss," shrugs one of the toughies. "Okay, waste them," growls Ryder. You watch in helpless horror gouts of flame from the guns envelop your creator. You attempt to turn away or close your eyes, but of course you're not equipped to do so. "Okay, now melt this pile of junk over here," barks the senator, pointing at some of your own machinery. Fire pours from the guns again, and suddenly the universe goes away. So, okay. So we record all of that. Let's save here, just to keep things slightly more moving. Okay. So, enter interface mode. HVAC controller. Turn off ventilation in Delta sector. Enter communications mode. Go to Mako. So we've done that. This is why I'm like so thankful for this walkthrough, because I would not be able to figure this out. See, because we have the simulation, we have the HVAC, we have the janitorial, the traffic computer, we have the weather center computer, and we have the IRS editing system. Okay. A group of 4 maintenance workers walks furtively into the room. They put down tote bags and begin working on one of the air conditioning units that cools the Prism CPU, your brain. One of the men is holding some kind of weapon. One of the men, tugging at the collar of his smock, says, "Stuffy in here, isn't it?" Saboteur with the gun says, "Hurry, will you? I need to get some fresh air." Parent leader replies, "We're working as fast as we can. Keep your cool." One of the men suddenly gasps and falls over. The others dash to his side and slowly pass out themselves. National Guard patrol enters the area and rushes the side of the prone bodies. "Still breathing, but barely," shouts the leader. They grab the saboteurs and carry them out. Oh, the WNN feeder. All right. Let's enter library mode and see if that's in there. No. Oh, yes, it is. Okay, great. The World News Network feeder is the central clearinghouse and transmitter for the USNA's largest video news channel. The feed can be set to transmit any buffer, default the World News buffer. Examples of feeder interaction: WNN feeder status, WNN feeder, turn on the transmitter, WNN feeder, transmit the special report buffer. Okay. WNN feeder status, transmitter on, current feed, world news buffer. So what was the language? WNN feeder, transmit, record buffer. Now transmitting record buffer. Let's go to enter communications mode. WNN. Oh, nope. Your visual and audio circuits are now hooked directly to programming the WNN. The WNN feed is showing Senator Richard Ryder trying to strong-arm Dr. Perelman in his office. Okay. A message begins coming over the message line. Prism! It's Perelman, sounding giddy with joy. You've done it! That was brilliant, absolutely brilliant, sending your recordings out over the WNN. Ryder just left here so fast and so mad, like nothing I've ever seen. Switchboard is lighting up like crazy, and I just got off the phone with President Bowden himself. You hear the sound of whooping and cheering in the background, and Perelman gives a yee-haw! More suited to a Texas cattle rancher than a Jewish big city scientist. National Guard unit has just been recalled. Prism! Prism! The plan is dead in the water. You're a hero. A mind forever voyaging through strange seas of thought alone. Your visual and audio circuits are now hooked directly to programming of the WNN. Prism. Prism, the supercomputer who exposed the Ryder scandal, will soon be granted his final request to live out the remainder of his days. And how long that might be, nobody knows, simulating his human existence. Prism, who recently received the Congressional Medal of Honor as well as a citation from President Bowden, has been spending much of his time in simulations, giving top grades to the administration's new program to replace the discredited plan. At a press conference in Rockville, Dr. Abraham Perelman, one of the creators of Prism, insisted that the world's first intelligent machine was, in fact, quite human. Picture cuts to Perelman standing behind a podium. His body may be silicon and steel, Perelman is saying, but in his heart, he's as human as anyone I've ever met. As Prism prepares to embark on his final voyage of the mind, I'd like to read a line from Hamlet as his epitaph, so to speak. He was a man. Take him for all in all. I shall not look upon his like again. The image from the WNN feed suddenly blinks off, and you find yourself back at the entry level of communications mode. The list of outlets indicates that none are currently active. A message is coming in. Prism programming of the simulation controller with the parameters of the new plan is complete. Everything is set for you to enter simulation mode. From all of us here at Prism Project, thanks and farewell. Guess enter simulation mode. Class 1 security, waived. This simulation is based 60 years hence. You're in a solarium. This enclosed sun porch or your penthouse apartment is surrounded by an outdoor patio accessible to the south. To the north is a sprawling living room. Sunlight spills off the vines and shrubs of this wide outdoor terrace. The view, always breathtaking, seems particularly sharp today. Beyond the parklands and forests to the west, the foothills of the Rockies are clearly visible. To the south, the river bends around Rockville before flowing up country towards North Dakota and the Garrison Lakes. The glass-walled sun porch lies behind a curtain of vines to the north. In a living room, sunken comfy pillow seats form a vaguely oval perimeter around a central circular fireplace. The rest of the furniture has been removed. The dining room lies beyond a bamboo screen to the east. An open, curving stair leads up to the master bedroom, and a foyer leads north. There's a newspaper here. Read, newspaper. The headline story is about a newly released study which indicates that the average life expectancy for both sexes has now passed 100 years, and success in the development of regeneratives should send that figure even higher. Despite the dropping mortality rate, global population remains stable at just under 2 billion, with off-worlding now running at a staggering 7 million people annually. To celebrate next month's special 20th anniversary Disarmament Day, the World Council has passed a bill authorizing fireworks displays in each of the former capital cities of the 22 former nuclear powers. The fireworks displays, by aerialist designer Jean Magomo, will feature disarmament themes and will be the largest display of pyrotechnic art in this century. A story on an inside page catches your eye. Perry Sim, noted author, to join crew of Silver Dove, reads the headline. Perry Sim, author and poet, recipient of the 2089 Mexicana Prize, has been selected from nearly 1,000 applicants to be the resident author aboard the Silver Dome, the space colony that is currently being equipped for mankind's first interstellar journey, a trip expected to last a dozen generations. Up to the master bedroom. This is a huge round bedroom, encircled by windows. A stairway leads down to the living room. As elsewhere, the furniture has been removed. I've not looked at myself. So, you look much as you always have, a normal, middle-aged male. Your clothes are simple, but adequate. You're empty-handed. Kiss, Jill. Jill kisses you back. Ooh la la, she says afterwards. Jill. Jill's healthy demeanor and graceful pose are more befitting a woman 20 years her junior. She is here, doing some last-minute packing. Ask Jill about packing. Don't know. Ask Jill about trip? Okay. Looks like you can't talk to Jill. Cool. Down. Let's go to the dining room. Spacious dining area is flanked by the living room on the other side of the bamboo curtain to the west and the kitchen to the east. The kitchen, rimmed with butcher block counters, softly lit by recessed lights and decorated in a random pattern of pastel tile. Kitchen is both lovely and functional. There's no fridge. Open fridge. Open. Look in fridge. Bullshit. Oh. Whoops. The gentle voice of your domestic computer calls softly from one of its many unseen speakers. The skycab you asked for is now waiting on the roof. Jill appears at the top of the steps with the row butler, who is carrying several bags. Algie has everything, Perry. Let's get going. You take a last look around the apartment and follow Jill and Algie into the hallway and onto the roof pad. As you clamber into the waiting skycab, Jill gives the row butler a fine farewell pat. The skycab climbs lazily and veers off to the northeast. This skycab is a luxurious top-of-the-line model, a veritable sky limousine. The opulent features include reclining seats, tinted zero glare windows, and a 2-meter view screen. The cab enters the central Rockville traffic pattern, gently curving along the ring of downtown parks. You can see a festival of some sort in Halley Park. The gold and crimson tents of the festival form a multicolored patchwork against the green background of the city's oldest park. Jill, glancing through yet another magazine article on the Silver Dove, says, "This story talks about the new athletics and art forms that are still being discovered for the waitlist area at the axes of the habitats." "Oh, Harry, I'm so excited," she adds unnecessarily. The Skycab continues its wide arc around the downtown area, approaching the Rockville Pier. The river is dotted with sailboats, and a tour boat is just pulling away from the pier for a day trip upriver, through Montana to the Devil's Tower region of Wyoming. Along the river south of the pier are the outdoor shells and amphitheaters of the Riverside Cultural Center. As the cab whisks northward along the edge of the river, you can make out the gleaming surface of the receiver station, nestled among the forests west of the city where orbiting solar collectors beam their precious energy. As the Skycab begins its approach to the spaceport, it passes over the museum established on the site of the former BSF base, a sobering monument to one of mankind's great follies. Suddenly, the view screen lights up, and Mitchell's face appears. "Hi, Mom, Dad, I wanted to wish you bon voyage, and I enlisted a little help." He expands the field of vision to include the entire living room of his spacious apartment at the Marine Biology Institute in Nova Scotia. The room is filled with your grandchildren and great-grandchildren, plus various in-laws, more than 20 members of the Sim clan. Everyone is hooting, yelling, waving, and blowing kisses. "We're having a big party in your honor. Only sorry we couldn't be there with you. We're real proud of you both, and excited for you too. Call me once you get to the habitat. Bye." The clan sides off by singing Auld Lang Syne, and when the screen goes dark, you notice that Jill's eyes are wet, and a second later you realize that yours are as well. With the gentlest bump, the Skycab settles into a landing bay at the spaceport terminal. Jill reaches over and gives your hand an excited squeeze. Through the window of the Skycab, you can see the sleek white shuttle waiting to carry you on your first leg of the journey. What? The Silver Dove would be more than just another space colony. It was the pinnacle of an eon of human achievement. The first step into interstellar space. You and Jill would never live to see the completion of that first step, generations hence. Although in the germ-free, low-G environment of a habitat, with the recent strides in health and longevity research, who could say for sure? You would still have been part of that dawning of a new age, the future of unlimited potential. Humanity was beginning a journey into the universe, a voyage that would last forever. Mind Forever Voyaging would not have been possible without the effort of many people. Mark Blank made the changes to our development tools that pushed back the envelope and made Interactive Fiction Plus a reality. As always, all the other authors pitched in when needed, but I want to particularly acknowledge the help of Stu Galley and Jerry Wolper. As a former playtester, I can say with authority that the testing of A Mind Forever Voyaging was superb. I want to appreciate the efforts of everyone who tested, especially Amy Briggs, Gary Brennan, Thomas Bach, Max Buxton, and Suzanne Frank. Paul Gross, Lynn Simpson, Duncan Blanchard, Mike Morton, Rick Lay, and Andy Kaliznacki performed various wizardries on the microcomputers which were on A Mind Forever Voyaging. Package was designed by Carl Genotasio and Elizabeth Langacy. Package art was the work of Larry Wimberg and Jess Nicholas, and photography the work of Ralph King. Finally, I'm extremely grateful to John Pallas for measurable advice and support throughout the project. And that is A Mind Forever Voyaging. That rules. That I lost the faith. I can't deny that I lost the faith a little bit. But that was impressive. That was really great. I don't I don't know what to think about that. That really, in my opinion, went to show like what interactive fiction is possible in a way that I don't often see. I think that it's deserving of its extremely high praise. In a way that isn't isn't with the asterisk of for its time, isn't with the asterisk of for 1985. Um, it's a little rough around the edges. I think that it could have. There were things that could have gotten removed, but that was super super interesting. Um, it is late by me. I need to examine myself in many ways. I hope that uh, that was enjoyable. I'm gonna really enjoy putting these VODs